Fear. It's a word we all know too well. It creeps in during uncertain times, whispers doubt when we need strength, and builds walls where faith could create bridges. But what if fear didn't have to control your life? What if you could face uncertainty with unshakable confidence, knowing that the Creator of the universe is by your side? Isaiah 41:10 reminds us, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Here's the powerful truth. Fear may knock at your door, but faith invites God into the room. Today, we'll explore how to replace fear with faith, trusting God to guide you through the storms of life. No matter how uncertain the future feels, His promises are unchanging, and His presence is constant. Chapter 1. Understanding the source of fear. Fear often stems from the unknown, questions without answers, problems without solutions. But the Bible tells us in 2 Timothy 1:7, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." Fear isn't from God. It's a tool the enemy uses to distract, discourage, and divide. But here's the key. Understanding the source of your fear is the first step to overcoming it. Ask yourself, what am I afraid of? Is it failure, rejection, or loss? Bring those fears to God in prayer. When you name your fears, you take their power away. And when you surrender them to God, He replaces them with His peace. Chapter 2. Choosing faith over fear. Faith is not the absence of fear. 'Tis the decision to trust God in spite of it. In Matthew 8, we see Jesus calming the storm. While the disciples panicked, Jesus slept. Why? Because He knew who held the winds and the waves. Faith is choosing to focus on God's power instead of the size of the storm. It's saying, "Lord, I don't understand, but I trust you." Whenever fear rises, counter it with God's promises. Speak them aloud. Declare them over your life. Let verses like Psalm 56 verse 3, "When I am afraid, I put my trust in you," be your anchor. Chapter 3. Stepping out in faith. Faith requires action. It's not just believing, it's stepping out, even when you don't see the full path ahead. Think about Peter walking on water in Matthew 14. His first step was faith, but his focus shifted to fear when he looked at the waves. What waves are distracting you today? Is it financial struggles, health concerns, or broken relationships? Instead of focusing on the waves, fix your eyes on Jesus. Take that step of faith, whether it's praying boldly, forgiving someone, or pursuing a calling God has placed on your heart. Each step builds your trust in Him and weakens the grip of fear. Chapter 4. God's promises in uncertainty. Uncertainty is a part of life, but God's promises are the foundation we stand on when the ground feels shaky. Joshua 1:9 says, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." God doesn't promise a life without challenges, but He does promise His presence through them. When uncertainty tries to overwhelm you, turn to His Word. Meditate on His faithfulness in the past and trust Him for the future. Remember, the same God who parted the Red Sea, healed the sick, and raised the dead is the God who holds your life in His hands. Chapter 5. Living fearlessly in faith. Living fearlessly doesn't mean never feeling afraid. It means walking in faith despite the fear. Romans 8:31 asks, "If God is for us, who can be against us?" This isn't just a comforting phrase, it's a declaration of victory. When you live in faith, fear loses its power. You're no longer a prisoner to doubt or uncertainty. Instead, you're free to live boldly, love deeply, and trust completely. Ask yourself, what would my life look like if fear didn't hold me back? Who could I encourage? What dreams could I pursue? Fear may knock, but faith opens the door to a life of courage, peace, and purpose in God's hands. Fear doesn't have the final say. God does. When uncertainty clouds your vision, let faith be your guide. Trust in the one who holds the universe, yet cares deeply for your every step. Starting today, choose faith over fear. Step into the unknown with confidence, knowing that God goes before you. His promises are your foundation, and His presence is your peace. You don't have to be afraid anymore. The waves may rise, but your faith will keep you steady. Trust Him and let His perfect love cast out every fear.